Welcome back, everyone. So I'm here to give you guys an amazing tutorial today. This isn't as beginner as it was before. It's gonna be a little more complicated, but essentially what it's gonna allow you to do is use your IP for a free cloud VPS through Oracle, basically to run your server through there. So let's say on my server I have Jellyfin, right, and I have it on localhost 8096, right? So here's my Jellyfin server. What if I told you you could take this IP and run it directly through a cloud VPS without having to do any configuration, any porting, anything other than that. And especially if you have a dynamic IP, this is amazing. Because what it allows you to do is it'll essentially have a static IP for your server instead of using tunnels or doing back methods. This is a great free way to basically port your static IP and not have to worry about DDoS attacks on your home internet IP address. So we're going to use three main things today. We're going to use Oracle free tier VPS. We're going to use Caddy itself, and we're going to use WireGuard. Now I'm going to list a lot of this stuff in a written tutorial later on. It's going to take me a while to write it all up, but let's get started with the first steps. So first we need to get WireGuard installed. So let's do that. Let's get our wire. Oh, and you're going to need a fourth thing. Sorry, no IP as well. So let's get that started right now. Let me just close a couple of these. And you're going to need to set up your Oracle free tier. So I'm going to list this video in the description. Um, it's going to tell you step by step how to set up Oracle free tier. And if you want to have easier access, you can also set it up so it uses a RDP. So on Windows, you can load it so it has a graphical interface on the actual VM, but it's really up to you what you want to do. So the first thing we're going to do is set this up. So watch this entire video. It's about 13 minutes long. It's very user friendly. Once you have your VM set up and your RDP'd in, we're going to start the next step. So next you need to set up WireGuard. So to do that, we're going to pull up our WireGuard download, which I can show you in here. It's just go to WireGuard. I'll pull it up right here, installation. I'll also put these links in the description as well, just so you know. We're going to download the Windows installer. I've already installed mine. Just save it. All right, I'll just save it over it. Once that's done, you're going to run an install and just install with all the defaults. You're going to be brought with one of these windows. Okay. So this is a window we're going to see, and this is fine. Now, once that's installed, we need to set up a secondary part. So let's get our VM loaded up. I'm going to go to my RDP, which is right here. This is my Oracle free tier. As you can see, it's my Oracle install. And I was testing this earlier to make sure this is working. It's going to be a little slow in the graphical interface. So if you prefer shell, go ahead and use your shell. But once this is done, we got to get our WireGuard set up. So let's do that first. We can do this by going to our terminal. So make it full screen. Okay, sorry about that. I was having some issues. So I just click the Windows key, go to terminal. Again, it might run a little slow because again, it's not a very powerful machine. It is an ARM64. So we're going to type in sudo apt install new WireGuard. And that's going to install that. Make sure we have the repository real quick. Hold on. Yeah, so you're just going to do this command right here. Once that's done, we can set up our WireGuard now. So now we have to set up our config for WireGuard. So two things that you need to note about WireGuard. You're not going to forget anything that has to do with your local IP, anything to do with your local connection, any of that. Forget all that. Don't even think about it. All right. So we're going to need to set up our WireGuard config. So let's do that right now. I'll be right back with my config. So we're going to go in here and we're going to paste sudo. Let me make sure I paste. Hold on. Sudo nano / and we're going to make our WireGuard config. So it's etc / WireGuard /wg1, or you can do wg0. I'm going to do one because I already have a WireGuard config. .conf. That's going to pull up a fresh new document. Now we need to paste this config in. So essentially what this is going to do is this is going to project us with our config for our VPS. And this is I'm going to explain how this resonates to the config on our standard PC, on our Jellyfin server, or whatever web apps you're trying to run through these. The first thing we need to do is set up our DNS for our external IP to be updated. So the way we do this is we go into our browser, and we're going to go into our browser, type in no IP, okay? And we're going to go into log into our account. I'm going to pause this while I log in. Once you're logged in, you'll be brought to this screen. And we're going to click on no IP host names. And we're going to give ourselves a host name. So I just have mine here. This is obviously going to be blurred out. You can click create a host name. And you're only allowed to do one host name before it charges you. But just so you know, I'll delete mine real quick. Actually, I'm not going to delete it because I have this set up ready. But you can just create a new host name. Name it whatever you want. Mine is my domain-computer PC. And then you want to update your targets with your local IP. Once you've done that, you can go into, let's see, where is it? Dynamic update client, and you're going to need this so it updates your dynamic IP so it consistently stays the same. So click on download DUC. Save. Yes, sorry, I haven't downloaded. If you run it, it should load up. I'm not going to do that because I already installed it. Just do everything as default.
Hi everyone, welcome to our support question of the day video. I'm Natalie. Today's support.
Once we have that done, we just find DUC, which is right here.
What question of?
And it should pull up somewhere. Yep. Let's see. Hold on. Mine's already running. Mine's right here. And it shows all my information. I'm going to blur a lot of this out, but it'll show that it has your IP. And if it shows my account, it'll ask you to log in, obviously. Once that's done and that's setting up to run your IP, you can go back into your browser. I'm sorry, into your RDP. And we're going to set up our. So next, we're going to have to create our private key and public key for our VPS or our Oracle Cloud tier. So we're going to do that. We're going to do WG gen key. It's going to create our private and key. And we're going to need to save this. So you want to save it somewhere special. So I'm going to make I already have, well, since we already have our key open, this is going to be our VPS private key. Just paste this in here. Okay. And then we need to get a public key now. So we'll get that. We also need a sudo ch mod to make sure that it has permissions. So we'll do that. All right, once that's done, now we can go into our, once that's done, we can go into our Caddy. So, or not our Caddy, I'm sorry, our Windows, and we're going to add this information. So we need our public local key from our Windows. Now, I'm going to explain a couple things about this, but I want to get all the information filled out first. Well, actually, why don't we explain right now? So the interface is always going to be your local computer. So whatever computer you have the file loader up on. So WireGuard, if I'm using WireGuard on my VPS, that would be the interface. That's this public key for the WireGuard, this internal IP for the WireGuard, this listening port, this save config, and all that. So one thing we're going to do is we need to find our network device, which mine is EMP0S3, which you can just type in literally if config, and it'll show your device. Find it right here. That'll be the device right there. So once you have that device, you just input into these two lines. You input your device ID for your network. Window listening port is 49312. Save config true, and this is the address that WireGuard is going to connect to. So basically, This can be anything. It can be 192, 168, 172. It doesn't matter. I just recommend sticking to the default because I know this works and it has worked for me. So this is the address for the WireGuard connection that's going to be made. Then here's our peer. This is where we're trying to connect to the other PC. And this is going to be the same kind of config for the Windows PC. The only difference is it's going to be reversed. So the Windows PC is going to have its own private key, its own network connection, its own listening port, and save config true. And then it's going to have the peer as the VPS. So we're going to paste, if we go back to our WireGuard on our Windows PC, this is on my Windows PC, so I'll close this just so we don't get confused. And we're going to click on Edit, select the tunnel. And here's my private key, right? So once we have this, we need to change a couple things. So you'll be presented with this. So all I have to do to make this is just click add a tunnel and add an empty tunnel. That's all you have to do to make this key. So that's what I did here. So I'm going to click edit selected tunnel, and you need to paste the config I post. Now, once you've pasted that command in, there's going to be a couple things. So we're going to have the port, which is 43 or 49312. And the listening port for the Windows is 49312. You can really choose any port as long as these are the same and your other VPS is the same ports on them. It can be any port. We're going to have our listed IP for our interface is 10.254.0.3. That's this PC. And the one for your VPS is going to be 10.254.0.4. If you can see, if I go to my VPS, it has the same thing. 10.254.0.4 is my VPS IP internal, and my external allowed IPs for my Windows client, which is the peer, is 10.254.0.3. Okay, now we need to get our public key. So this was just posted in our WireGuard. So if we go back and we save this, so this is going to be our private key. So we have this saved. So we'll just click on, let me check this real quick. Okay, so now that we have that, we're going to want our public key from our WireGuard. So to get this, remember those things we copied down earlier in the command line? So the WireGuard public, this one is our private. And to get our public, we should be able to just type in, second. So get our WireGuard public, we just copy and paste this command. 1 second. Again, this will all be in a written tutorial as well. And that's our public. So we're going to copy this, and we're going to paste that in our Windows WireGuard because again, we want our public key to be for the peer, which is that means our peers connecting to our public, and our public is our peer is our other PC that we're trying to connect to. So our interface is the one we're using the WireGuard on. Peer is the one we're trying to connect to. So give me 1 second, let me do that. Okay, so once we've pasted our public key in, now we need to get our WireGuard information, our information from our VPS. So to do this, you can just get your VPS IP. So to do this, you just go into your, pull this up. So you're just going to copy this public IP from right here where you're running instances. This is currently one that's going down, so I'm not worried about sharing it, but don't share this, and it's very private. So I'm just going to copy that. So we're just going to copy this and paste it in to our WireGuard. Again, I'm going to blur this out so you don't know. That's going to go on the endpoint for us. So we're going to paste that in there. And once that's done, we click Save. And now we can close out of our Oracle. Once that's done, now we need to copy our public IP or public key from here and paste it into our public key for the peer on our VPS. So this is our VPS now. We're on terminal, and we're going to paste this in. Okay. That's correct. That's not correct. So once you've copied that over, I'm having an issue with copy and pasting on my VM. But other than that, or RDP, sorry. Once you've copied it over, we now are all done. Now we set that no name, that endpoint is going to be your, like I said, no IP, your DDNS.net, so your no IP domain, same IP. Now we just need to do one other thing, and then we can set up Caddy and test it. Well, test it out and then set up Caddy. So we can just click Control O, and we can exit out of it. And now we need to test, we need to go into our Oracle, cloud. And we're gonna click on this little top bar, and we're gonna go into where is it? No, uh, virtual cloud networks. Okay, and we're gonna click on our this one, our virtual cloud network, the one we set up, and we're gonna go down to security list. We're gonna add a couple of click on the default security list. We're gonna add a couple of ports. We're gonna add 53, 2019, 443, 80, and then our port for our WireGuard. So just add an ingress rule, and you'll do this for all of them. You type in 0.0.0.0/0. So it's 4 zeros and dots in between um 3 of them. Then a 4/0. That's gonna be our local host, and we're just gonna name it our. So if you do 443. You can do multiple ones if you want. You can do multiple ones on this one if you want. Yep, so mine's a 1, so I'll do ping to 10.254.0.1 and see I'll get a ping request, and it's pinging. Now let's try the next one. So we're going to do it on a Windows machine now. So if you open up a terminal, we can ping that now. So we're going to do ping and ping our WireGuard. So ping 10.254.0.2, which is our VPS, and it's pinging that now as well. So once that's done, we know it's working. So we can send our next step, which is to set up Caddy. So to do that, we need to make sure that our Caddy is set up. So let's download our Caddy file. Before we do that, I also want to check your localhost. Like if you want to see if your Jellyfin is working, you can type in http:// your IP, which is 10.254.0.1 and bam, see it'll load up for me. So this is my Jellyfin on my other machine. I have no Jellyfin running this. It's running directly on my other PC. Okay. So once we've seen that is working, that's why the graphical interface may come in handy for some of you people. But again, it really depends on your experience. Next, we want to do is download our Caddy file. So I'm going to link this link in the description, but you need to make sure it's for Linux ARM64. That's because right now we're on an ARM package with the free version of Oracle, and just to make sure Cloudflare and Duck DNS are selected. You don't. I just do it for both of them because I usually use both, but you can choose. Click on download, and it down to our downloads. Now we're going to go into here, into our downloads directory in here. So if you've never downloaded this, it'll just show up as Caddy Linux ARM64 custom. We're going to rename it. So just right click in your file browser and click rename and just name it Caddy. Next, we're going to go to terminal. So terminal. And we're going to do sudo move, or I'm sorry, move mv. I'm going to do Caddy. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go to our download CD downloads. So we're in our downloads directory, and if we ls it to see what's in here, there's the caddy. So we do sudo move or mv caddy, and we're gonna move it to our user / bin to make it executable. All right. Now if we do caddy version, just permission denied. That's okay. We're just gonna give it read and write permission by doing another command. So that's gonna be this one. It's gonna be sudo chmod plus x, which is gonna give it write permissions / user / bin / caddy. Okay. And now if we do it, it should show the caddy version. And there we go. We have a caddy version. So now after that, we can just run our caddy or set up our system service. So to do that, we do that service done. Hold on a second. Okay, so now we need to run a service group for this, and I'm just following the caddy instructions here to help you guys out, just so you can walk through it. I'm just gonna paste these commands. I already have that group existed, but it'll say a group has been added if you added it. And we're gonna add this as well. It's going to add that my user already existed. That's fine. I already have mine, so you'll get a successful message. Now we need to execute our service. So we need to open our system MD for this. Here's our system service. I'll show a tutorial. I'll leave this link in the description for Caddy to get directly to the service guide. This is essentially what you're going to do. You're going to make a service file. So we're going to go in here and do system MD systems Caddy service. So we're going to do nano sudo nano etc system md / system / caddy dot service, and that's gonna make our service. So once that's done, you'll see it's priority created. We just have to locate where our bin and our caddy file is. So I'm gonna put so we want to now we see where our caddy file is being loaded from, which is etc caddy file. So if we exit out of this, because this is all good, we don't need anything else in here because we already have everything we need. We can now find our caddy file. So we'll do nano sudo nano. Actually, don't check that. We'll just copy this. Caddy file. Okay, and okay, so here's your caddy file. I'm gonna roll my API keys because these are already on here. But essentially, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add one of these configs. So let's say I want to do my photos, my image server, right? So you do photos.movies for you, whatever, or photos.your domain. We're gonna add your IP as your internal IP of your Windows machine. So let's say my Windows machine is on here. It's so you're gonna add your Windows machine IP, which mine is 10.254.0.1. That's my Windows IP, so I put that as the reverse proxy. And then the port of the image, which is 2283. And we're gonna change our DNS Cloudflare to our API key, which I can show you right now. So all you have to do for that is go into Cloudflare. And we're gonna log in. Let me log in real quick. Show me out with these, whatever domains you've linked. I'm not going to show you to link mine. You can look that up. It's pretty simple. And I also made a video about it earlier. So I'm going to type in my movies for you. And I have my A record. So actually, I'm going to do a different domain real quick. So I can do Devil's Designs. We'll just do that one. So you're going to have a DNS. You're going to click on here. And you're going to add an A record. So I'm going to click Add an A record. Make an A record. We're going to do at for the domain name, so it links Devil's Designs. And you're going to take your VPS's IP. So if you go into your Oracle Cloud and you find your VPS that we put in our config file, and you change it to the correct one. So, for example, let me find mine real quick. If you go to instances and you find your instance, it'll show right there on the public IP is the one you're going to want, the public IP. So paste this in. Pause this real quick. Okay, so once you have your key in, you're just got or your your external IP of your VPS from Oracle. You're gonna decheck the proxy set so it's DNS only and click save. And then we're gonna add our records. So let's say we want a CNAME. We're gonna type in our CNAME. So let's say it's I don't know, TV, and it's my Jellyfin install. So it's at for the domain. Again, click unproxy for DNS only. And that now is going to be the CNAME. So for example, now that I have that, I can go into overview. And I can go into, scroll all the way down to the bottom where it says, get your API token. We're going to click on that. We're going to go into our Caddy. You're going to click, well, we'll just make new. We'll click create a new token. I'm going to go down to this bigger one. Click on create a custom token. And give it an API name. We'll name it Caddy2 or Caddy example. And we're going to do a zone. And scroll on the next one and do zone. And make this read. Add a second one, we're going to do zone. And this one's going to be DNS. And then we're going to do edit. And then you can leave all the rest default and click continue. And click create. And copy this key. And now if I do a CNAME for Devil's Designs, I can do, let's see, I'll do one, random one here. Again, these configs will be in the instructions too, so you have it. Copy this. We'll just make it my 29090. I think that's my kitchen app. What haven't you know what I haven't used? So I almost forgot. There's one last thing you have to do. So you have to port forward these ports on your Windows firewall and on your router. So the only port you need to port is that 49312. So to do this, we're going to click add a new rule. And we're going to put our port as 49312. And another port 49312. And our internal port 49312. And 49312. And we're going to do our IP of our computer, which mine is this one. And then we're going to do service type, WireGuard. And enable this entry. And then protocol, we can do all. And click save. I already did mine, so I don't need to do that, but that's something you're going to have to do. You also have to go into Windows Firewall. And go to inbound rules. And create an inbound rule for WireGuard. So we're going to right click on inbound rules, new rule. Port. I'm going to select the port. 49312. That was it? Yeah. Click on next. Click on next. Click on next. Then click on type WireGuard. I already did this, so I'll do it. You click finish. I click cancel because I already have it on here, as you can see. WireGuard. Here's my WireGuard port. As you can see, I have my protocol here. And then once you do that, then it should allow the connection through for your WireGuard. Just so you know. So once you have the API token, you'll paste it into here. And once that's pasted, you can just then run the commands to see if it works. So we're going to click Control O to save, and then return, and then Control X to exit out. And we're going to do a couple things. So we're going to enable the service and enable the Caddy service and run it to see if it's working. So one way we're going to do that is we're going to go into here, and we're going to do sudo systemctl. It's in the Caddy commands. Go to that really quick. So we can do sudo systemctl daemon reload to reload the service. The services. Then we do sudo systemctl enable now Caddy. And it should show. And then we do a status update. So if we want to see if it's working, do this. Okay. And as you can see, I have it working. So now all we have to do is click on, if we have issues and it shows like it's not locked or it's not working, you can check that by typing in this command, which is going to give you an output for the logs. So if you ever need the log command, I'll also put this in the written tutorial, but just so you know, that'll give you all the logs and show you if it unlocked the accounts or if it unlocked the logs and it successfully pasted the certificate, whether it's successful or not. Once you do that, you should just be able to load up. So if I go into here and I type in my domain, it should load up your domain. I can do like photos.me. Bam, got my image server now. So this is now a foolproof way to get a static IP for free and enable a Cloudflare and Caddy install on a VPS, and it also allows you to hide your IP. Since this won't have any trace of your IP in it, it'll only see that 10.2.254, which is internal, so it won't even see that. So that way you're DDoS protected as well. So if someone knocks you offline, you have to worry about, you know, getting booted offline or DDoS for you with gaming servers out there on Minecraft or whatever. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, you want to like, comment, rate, and subscribe. I'd love to answer any questions you guys may have. Hopefully this worked for you guys. Thanks so much and have a great rest of your day.